Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to Will and Wise, the Dog Show Drive.
Canadian edition.
Oh, I wasn't sure you were going to say that. This week on the drive, we're going to talk about the passing of an icon. We lost Knut Egeberg last week. And that takes us right into this week's topic about mentorships. How important mentors are to you and your breeding program, career, etc. And then we're going to talk about last week's question, which got a lot of response, the keyboard warriors. And then we're going to lighten it up when we get down to Kennel and Bench. Yes. All that.
And more.
On Will and Wise, the Dog Show Drive.
Canadian edition. Hi, Will.
How was your weekend?
It was actually somewhat relaxing. It was good.
Did you go fishing?
Yes, I did. I went fishing.
Gone fishing.
Went fishing. It was a really good fishing weekend. We caught. We were allowed. Well, here in Ontario, we can catch 4 pickerel per day. Like not per day, per trip or whatever, but we had 6 people, 2 of them being Darren's parents that don't go fishing. So ta-da! We got to catch a lot of fish. Pickerel. Yeah, we could have caught
Game and Wildlife, they caught a lot of fish.
So we call it pickerel, a lot of people call it walleye. So, but they're good eating, apparently. I don't eat them.
You can't hear that dog barking?
Not at all. Not at all. Good. And like I said, I'm almost listening.
Maybe it's not really barking. Maybe it's just in my head.
Your head. Haven't you ever done that? Haven't you ever heard something and you swear that it happened? And
no. Beef, be quiet.
I'll do it later. I still hear my mother yelling at me. Anyway, so we caught a lot of fish. It was a nice weekend. I've been doing lots of walking because I gotta get off my
get in shape.
Yeah, my caboose because Fanny, we're going up. We're not that we're going on a show spree, but we're going to do some shows. So it's more for me than her, but
that's right. Get yourself
we're bonding.
In shape.
We're bonding.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Oh, and how was your weekend?
It was good. I showed at the St. Catharines Kennel Club.
That's right. You told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was fun. I got to see a lot of people. There was some issues with the Air Canada strike. Glendinning couldn't make it in because of the strike. So they brought in Deirdre McKinnon, and it was great to see Deirdre. But then it was really hot, and she got a little bit not feeling well, so they had to replace her with Irene Latchford. So we got to see a plethora of judges that weekend.
It was like 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, and who else was on the panel that was already there? Yeah, you didn't hear that, did you? Mary White was there, so it was great to see Mary.
Oh, that's lovely.
And David Gilmore was there. He's such a nice guy. Who else was on that panel? It was a fun little panel. It really was. Good. Todd Foley was there as well.
Oh, friend of the show, Todd Foley. Yeah, good. So, oh, that's excellent. Oh, I forgot to do my eyebrows this morning.
Oh, me too.
Damn it.
There, done.
I try to make them darker as I'm aging. My eyebrows are getting lighter. But have I ever told you this?
Becoming like the star on powder.
But every once in a while, I know my father's looking down on me because I will have a hair that grows like straight out and it is long. Like my dad had the bushiest, like they weren't Eugene Levy type, but they were thick. My mom used to cut his eyebrows all the time.
Well, don't you remember Noel McGivern? He had Nancy would cut them right there at ringside because they'd be like sticking out.
Like foot brushes. Anyway, I don't know how we got onto that, but anyway. So yeah, so you had a good weekend.
Like caterpillars on your forehead. Did you ever see that meme? There was a guy with giant eyebrows, caterpillars, and it said, "When I don't go shopping. I just browse."
Yeah.
And there's got these giant eyebrows.
We have to stop for 1 second. We have to stop for 1 second. Pause us. So, all right, great weekend. So as I was saying about my eyebrows. Well, just that I didn't, because I color them a little bit.
Yeah,
color them, but they're not colored right now. But they're
Mimi from Drew Care.
No. Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry. It's early. We're doing this at a different time.
Yes, different time of day. So
schedule.
You're getting a whole different vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is how we were before we started showing dogs in the morning, and it's usually just, is it 9 o'clock yet? Get in the ring. You two are so annoying. I'm going to a dog show this weekend.
Where are you going?
The Lake Elmo, Minnesota specialties and the Lake Elmo dog show. It's a beautiful show. It's a great show. So there's 2 days of specialties and then 2 all breeds. But I have like an 8 o'clock ring time. I'm not sure if I'm going to be. I was going to just make Faith show my corgi, but I think the Legato's on at 8 too. So I'm like, I'm going to have to be up and dressed by then. It's tough.
Yep. Get to work. She's open 24 hours, just not in a row.
So in 24 hours across 5 days. Anyway, we should get on this and get going.
Get on with it.
Let's get on with it. So across Canada, excuse me, driven by Show Scene magazine, Show Scene, where every dog takes center stage. So this past weekend out in West Kootenay Kennel Club, Castlegar, BC, they had 6 shows, 914 dogs across 6 shows, which is up considerably from 5 shows they had last year, and they only had 477.
Yeah, so that went up. That was good for them.
Yeah, it's a lot, yeah. If you think about it, it's a lot.
Even though they added a show, but that was smart by the sounds of it.
Yep. And then right in the province next door to us is the Manitoba Canine Association, held in St. Paul, Manitoba. They had 4 shows and they had 854 dogs there. And that's up from last year, which had 796. So good job. They had a lot of specialties. MCA. Yeah, they had a lot of specialties too. I think like the Irish National, they had 2 lab specialties, sporting dog specialty, toy specialty, lots to do there.
And a memorable time at MCA.
Yes, we've had memorable.
You have to be this tall to ride that ride.
Which you weren't.
I wasn't, and I got caught. It hurt. Oh, well, never mind.
Yes. You'll have to go back an episode or 2 to find out that story. Anyhow, Thousand Islands Kennel and Obedience Club, popularly known as TICO, in Spencerville, Ontario. It had 3 shows, 526 dogs, down from the previous year of 678 dogs.
Yeah, they're down quite a bit.
Excuse me, I have a little frog in my throat. Let me just...
Dog Show Drive mug.
And I'm wearing my Dog Show Drive shirt today, too.
For all those of you listening on the radio.
Yeah. St. Catharines District Kennel and Obedience Club in Thorold, Ontario. 2 shows for 273 dogs this year, down from last year of 346. 2 shows.
It was 3 shows.
Is it 3 shows?
Yeah, it's 3 shows.
3 shows?
I was there. For 3 days.
Were you?
Oh, great. Please be quiet.
So, pardon me. 3 shows. Megan, you're getting docked and paid.
Yeah, that's it, Megan. I'm going to talk about it. It's late.
Your performance review is coming up. Poor idiots. New Brunswick Kennel Club in St. John's, New Brunswick. 4 shows, 562 dogs, the exact same as last year. And Megan put down, check the numbers
How many
twice.
dogs?
652 over 4 shows. That's good. Did I say 400? Oh, 652.
I don't know. Beef keeps barking in my head. I can't tell what's going on here. But that tells you, I hate to harp on things, but you look at Tico, it was down. You look at St. Catharines, it was down. Those 2 are driving distance.
Yeah.
Those 2 are driving distance.
Yeah.
If there was one show that weekend,
whew,
it may not have reached the total between the 2 shows, but it would have been closer.
Yep, for sure.
I hate bringing that up, but it's a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact. So that was Across Canada, brought to you by Show Scene Magazine, where every dog takes center stage. So our upcoming show is brought to you by Canuck Dogs, your source for Canadian dog show events online. Already heading into October because apparently we're at the end of August.
Oh my God.
I'm going to start
That is
crying.
frightening.
I'm going to have to start thinking about Christmas soon. I'm not ready for that, Will. I'm not ready.
I didn't take my tree down from last year, so it's okay. It still looks nice.
One year I did that in Calgary. It took forever. So I just started hanging different themed decorations on it. And a Valentine, then it was Easter. I think my mom came in May and said this was enough. And I was like, whatever. So we're looking at October shows. United Kennel Club in St. Lazare, Quebec. That's from October 3rd to the 6th. It's 4 all breed shows, limited breed shows for groups 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then I can't say this name, and Abiguet.
Yeah, I think we need somebody from that club to call us and tell us to pronounce that name.
At least someone from the Maritimes.
Yeah.
Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, and that's on the October 3rd to the 5th. And the closing date, September 22nd, and that's 5 all breed shows. Then we have Fraser Valley Dog Fanciers Club, and that's October 9th through the 12th. That's the our Thanksgiving weekend. And that's 4 all breed shows and 4 obedience trials. And then we have Wine Country Kennel Club in Caledonia, Ontario, also on the Thanksgiving weekend, October 10th through the 13th. And it's 4 all breed shows, limited breed shows for groups 1, 3, 5, and 7. Then out west, there's Medicine Hat Kennel Club, October 10th through the 12th. 3 all breed shows, limited breed shows for groups 2, 5, and 6. And then the Cobequid Dog Club in Bible Hill, Nova Scotia, October 11th and 12th, 4 all breed shows. And then the Avalon Kennel Club in St. John's, Newfoundland, also the October 11th and 12th, and it's 4 all breed shows. And that was your upcoming shows brought to you by Canuck Dogs, your source for Canadian canine event information online. And then a couple of reminders for closing. Calgary Kennel and Obedience Club closes Monday, August the 25th at 9 o'clock. And the show secretary is TKO Show Services. And that's the only, that's that. That's that.
Yeah.
That's that.
So I want to bring up, there was some sad news last week in the world of world of dog shows, not just Canadian.
Yeah.
We lost on August 13th. We lost Knut Egeberg. I believe he was, I want to say 92 years old. 92 years old.
I think it was something like that.
Yeah, but Knut was an incredible character. He was always there for me. Throughout my childhood, Knut was there. He's showing dogs, judging dogs, and he was always really good to new owners and junior handlers. He was always patient with them and tried to make them feel at ease. I got to know him very well. He actually gave me my very first group placement. Yeah. And Knut was from Oslo, Norway. So he had that Norwegian accent. And he came to Canada in 1965. And he bred wire fox terriers to begin with, then Airedale terriers. Then he moved to Caribou terriers, where he got where he received so much accolades with Kerry Blue Terriers. He his first dog, what was the dog's name? Car Holmes Charles was that was his favorite Kerry Blue Terrier, and it was one of his first ones. And that dog, actually, the very first dog he had was Fugel Gardens Music. And Music, that was his very favorite Kerry Blue. And Music, it was the name of his kennel. So he took her name and made Music his prefix. And then his next dog was a dog named Carl Holmes Charles. And Charles, he was a winner at Crufts. He was a winner at Westminster Kennel Club. He was a Best in Show winner in multiple different countries.
Oh, wow.
He did very well. And from there he went to, he was also Terrier Stud or Sire of the Year 3 years in a row. And not just Kerry Blue, Terrier.
Wow.
Terrier type in the U.S. called him
that's impressive.
Sire of the Year 3 years in a row. But I believe his offspring was Music Sonata, which is probably Knut's most famous dog. And Sonata was shown in Canada as well by Gary and Elaine at that point. But in the UK, she went reserve Best in Show at Birmingham. She was Group 3 at Crufts, both owner handled by Knut. Then her litter brother, Music's Right On, I believe Gary and Elaine showed him a bit too, if I recall. But he spent a year in Scandinavia, ended up being Dog of the Year, top dog all breed in Scandinavia. So he's had some beautiful dogs over the years and some influential dogs. He also judged the biggest Kerry Blue national specialty in the UK at that point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he was very, very close to the famous George Ward. George Ward and Knut were very close friends. And when I interviewed Gare Flick Pedersen of Lewline fame, he credited Knut as one of his mentors.
Oh, really?
Which I think I didn't know that. I thought that was amazing. But he remembered telling me, he told me a story that he remembered that Knut was the first one to teach him how to trim a wire fox terrier.
Really?
So that's pretty huge when you think about what Gare did in this sport.
Yes,
and then,
for sure.
Then I was speaking with Espen Ing about Knut, and he credited Knut with being a mentor to him as well.
How interesting.
So he reached far beyond just Ontario dog shows. Mm-hmm. And as I was saying, he gave my very first group placement. I was about 11 years old. I had an English Cocker. And my dad was showing an Irish setter. Archie Warnock was there showing his golden retriever. And Knut made his cut. He had all these dogs. He put Archie up front right away. Put Archie up, the golden's going to win. Put up front. He walked back. He looked at the rest of the lineup. And he leaned down to me and he said, "Do you want to beat your old man?" And if you ask him, he said, I looked up at him and said, "You bet I do." And he gave Briggs and I group second and my dad third. So that was my first group placement. I still can see the picture in my head. But I ended up showing dogs for Knut later on because he switched from carries to smooths in his later years. And we showed his smooths for him. But that's kind of how I remember Knut is with the smooths. I don't I don't really remember the carries, but I do remember the smooths for sure. Well, he had some nice smooths, but they didn't reach the same heights that the carries did.
Yeah.
But I remember speaking to him. I spoke to him. He had a lot of health issues. So one time he called me and I couldn't understand him, but I could understand my name whenever he said my name. But prior to that, I spoke to him, and he, even at that age, this was probably, he'd be late 80s at that point, he expressed concerns about the declining entries at Canadian dog shows and how many shows there were now. And I hadn't seen him at a show in a good 15 years, but it means he was following along, and because it's a sport
incredible.
That he loved. Yeah. He was a true icon of our sport, and when I posted that because Gary McDonald's sister Shirley sent that to me because she's still in contact with Knut, so she alerted me about his passing, and when I posted that, I got so much response, and not just the comments on the post. I got private messages expressing how sad they were because how Knut had touched them throughout their careers and
Right.
are in dogs, and how one person said he was that knew was an integral part of their childhood growing up at dog shows because he was so good. Like if he came to ringside with two smooths and he saw a junior handler there, he'd hand one to you can show this one for me. And then, hey, that's just the way it went. And then he would talk you through it. Like he really, when I was about, when I was in my early 20s, he wanted me to show terriers more than I was showing sporting dogs. And he always wanted me to teach me how to trim dogs. He would be at the dog show and he'd bring whatever dog he had there and put on the table and say, okay, now William, do this and do this and do this. And I would try, and I got okay at it, but he was just that way. He always seemed to be wanting to teach people,
which is awesome.
I'm glad. I'm not happy about what happened. I'm happy with the response that the world of dogs showed Knut in respect of his passing. So. He was an important person for our sport, and especially in Ontario in the 70s and 80s. So, yeah.
So speaking about Knut, this kind of leads us into our this week's topic, which is sponsored by Leading Edge Dog Show Academy. Your success is our success. And our topic is what mentors do in dog shows and dog breeding. And I have to give a shout out to Mia Vavrova, who is an English setter person, but she had posted this on one of our English setter pages, and I just thought it's a good topic, and it's something that we should discuss, especially for the newcomers to dogs. That's something to really put a lot of consideration into, is trying to find a mentor or someone who you can trust to guide you through this process to be successful at it. Because there are a lot of successful people in it. I also feel there's a lot of people that will help you, but you got to ask. So let's go.
Right. And there, you'd be surprised. Even the person you think is unapproachable, if you show your passion in their breed or in their sport, they want to help you. They want to help you. They'll be there for you. I've had so many mentors throughout the years, and some mentors that don't even know they're mentors because I just watched them. Like I had, obviously my parents were great mentors for me in the sport. Gary McDonald, Elaine Whitney, Susan Hillman. Brian Taylor was a huge part of me growing up.
Oh, for sure.
And Judy as well. And then there was George. I couldn't replace George Olson. He's always been there for me. He still listens to me babble. So
it's it is funny about how you think about mentors. Like, of course, you're one of my mentors. I knew that. As soon as it came out, I thought, oh, Jesus.
Did somebody say
tribute? Anyway, but I look at within breeds, the breeds that I've shown, the mentors I've had, like within Great Pyrenees, there's a lovely lady in Minnesota, because we showed a lot in Minnesota as I was growing up, Elaine Kohlberg. Annie Seppo with miniature poodles.
Oh, Annie, of course, yes.
As crazy as she is, she knows, she's forgotten more than most of us will ever know, the kind of thing. And you take,
and she's willing to share it. Like she
all the time,
like that.
I think Raymond will tell you his foundation in scissoring came from Annie. So because he spent a summer at her kennel with her, and you get to trim a lot of mini poodles. When you go at that time, you can trim a lot of mini poodles. But, and then, Lise Strachey and Louis Journeau, as far as English setters go, breeder knowledge. And it's not just, the breeds that like I look at Carol Randall here in Thunder Bay. I consider her a mentor. I will listen to her at any point in time talk about breeding, because she's been so successful in not one, but two breeds, right?
Yeah, so that's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, but we have a list that Megan has got done for us, and it's what mentors do in dog shows and dog breeding. So first and foremost, they will share their breed knowledge with you. So, and that's, they'll teach you about the breed standard, the history of the breed, temperament, the purpose of your breed, and explain how to recognize strengths and weaknesses in structure and type. And I think I shouldn't say a lot of people, I think that foundation, that fundamental knowledge, I think a lot of people skip it.
Oh, they most definitely do. It's because of the new generation is instant gratification. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's difficult. It's not. It is a difficult job breeding dogs, but it's not difficult to follow a recipe. Mm-hmm. And exactly. if I as a youngster, I would watch successful handlers and I would ask them. I always tried to. The successful ones always stuck out because they're always in the spotlight. But it's if you pick someone that's already successful to mentor you in your breed. So if I was a youngster in English setter, I saw Yvonne at the dog show. I see her winning all this accolades with her English setters. Of course, I'm going to ask Yvonne about English setters if that's my
Yvonne
interest.
Will tell you.
Yeah. It's hard because you're going to get pulled in a lot of different directions at a subjective sport like this, because there's so many different personalities. Yeah. And people like backup. They like backup, and if you'll join their group rather than Yvonne's group, they'll have backup. So you've got to keep a clear head when you're choosing a mentor and do it for the right reason.
Yeah.
Like if you ever talk to Brian Casey about Dobermans and breeding Dobermans, he would make a deal with the devil if it meant he'd have better Dobermans. So he
understood.
Would, yeah, like that. He wasn't. His arms weren't behind his back mentally because of somebody he didn't get along with. He would still go to them if he thought they were going to help his breed.
Yes.
So.
Yep. And that takes that takes a lot of gumption within the person to overlook personal and ego, right? Because often it all comes back to that ego.
Egos are huge in this sport for us.
Yeah, for sure. So the other thing, another thing that a mentor will help you is guide you in handling and presentation. And that's I think, like what people, they always think that's what a mentor does, is tells you how to show your dog and how to trim on your dog. I mean, it is a part of it, but they will give you tips on, grooming, conditioning, ring presentation, and help you build some confidence in the ring, showing your own dog. Sure.
It's like Garrett Lambert, who was an amazing mentor to so many in Canada. He would, even when I wasn't set up with him or traveling with him, if he saw me doing something that he thought I could do better at, he would tell you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he did it in a way, not to embarrass you, but to make you think twice.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure you want to do that? Maybe you should do this.
Yeah.
And
have you ever tried this?
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, he was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I remember I was trimming a dog one time and I was young. I was like maybe 18. I thought I was all that, and I'm trimming away. And he walked by me. He said, "Hack away, William, hack away." And that's all he said. So but that was enough for me to go ask him, what was I doing wrong? And he showed me, and I changed my ways. Right.
Yeah.
So, hack away, William, hack away.
Exactly. Also, mentors will provide breeding insight. So they will help you. They'll explain pedigrees, genetics, and health testing, and this is like vital to becoming a good breeder. You have to look at pedigrees. You have to see, the genealogy of your dog, and your breeder knows. Or your breeder will know what mixes well and what doesn't. You can breed 2 beautiful dogs together and get crap, or you can do an outcross and get some beautiful dogs. But breeders know when they can go and outcross, or if this bitch you can outcross to because she's strong within her own genetics that she's going to produce what you like. And then you can try and bring in something new. Or if you've got a bitch that, nope, this one needs to be tightly line bred in order for us to maintain what we are trying to achieve. And breeders know that kind of stuff.
Well, that comes from knowing your family that you're breeding. Yep. But it also comes from asking your mentor, like that breeder had a mentor as well. And that breeder before them had a mentor as well.
Yep.
So when you buy a dog, English setter from Yvonne, who she has Lisa and Louis mentors, and they had so-and-so as mentors and so-and-so. You buy a dog from Lisa and Louis or buy a dog from Yvonne, and you're getting 100 years of experience right there. Yeah. Because it's not just Yvonne's experience, it's all the experience she garnered and so on, like a Fabergé commercial.
Exactly. And like I said, they guide mentees on how to make thoughtful breeding decisions to improve the breed. So that's another valuable asset to having a mentor. And your mentor should offer you honest evaluations too. And this is the hardest thing for people to get into. Sure. Honesty.
Some don't want to accept it. No, they don't want to hear it.
They don't.
Yeah, they don't. And it's interesting because I always use Rick's shooting as an example for something like this. Because if I came up to Rick and I said, "What do you think of this dog?" And he said, "It's going to be a great one, kid. You're going to do a great, kid." But that was he didn't want to ever hurt anybody's feelings. So if you asked him about a dog, you just say that. But if Rick came up to you and said, "Yvonne, where'd you get that English setter from?" He meant it. Then he started asking you about the English setter, and that's a good dog, and blah, blah, blah. He was so good that way. And I got to figure him out as the years went on. Because he would say, you'd like, "There's the great Richard shooting. So what do you think of this?"
Fantastic.
You're going to do great with that one,
kid. Knock your socks off. Yeah, exactly.
If he got out of his chair and leaned over the rope and said, "Where'd you get this?" He meant it.
Yeah. But you have to be willing, and that's the other thing. You have to be willing to understand where the critique and the criticism is coming from. And it's not coming from a place of, wanting to beat you down. It's coming from a place of wanting to make you better. Right. And that's
no question.
And that is, you're not going to get better. If you're always being told you're fantastic, you're not going to keep. Yeah. Well, some of us.
It's hard for people when they have their little Fifi on the couch and someone says, "Well, Fifi,
she's so beautiful.
Her legs stick out in directions that aren't even on the compass,
Yeah, she shouldn't be able to go to both poles at the same time.
People don't want to hear that about their loving house dog,
And you have to understand when people, because there are certain people, they'll come up to me and they'll say, and for example, our friend of the show, Sean Nichols, I want to ask Sean his opinion on my dog, and I'd be like, well, be ready for an honest one, because he is not going to sugarcoat it. So if you get your feelings hurt, take an Advil now, because they're going to be hurt. But, not just saying that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So, but it's as a handler, all those years as a handler, you became familiar with certain judges, and they would say things to you. And I remember one time going in the ring with, I won't say who the judge was, but they're going over my dog, and they said, "Oh, you drew the short straw," and it was my own dog. Like, "Oh, this is my own dog."
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to take when it's your own dog. You have to keep things in perspective,
I have this conversation with you all the time. I'd rather have Faith show Fanny, because if I lose with Fanny, I want to cry, and I'm not a crier, right? And I know, I know my dogs where I would like to see my dog better. I know that. And maybe I'm a little too critical. And then there's that part of it too, when you're mental and there's nothing good about it. Why did I even spend the entry money? God damn it.
Why do I bother playing at all?
You know, but good mentors, they will help you understand how judges might view your dogs too. So, and that comes with their experience and knowledge about, I've shown to this judge this many times, I know this is what they like. I know I would never take, like, for example, when Carl Liepman judged, you never showed an English setter with a patch to him. He hated them. So you just, go to the end of the line now. So why bother entering?
Well, you have to learn what certain judges like. I didn't know that about Carl. But there are some, like I remember when I was showing Adele, I could never do well under a certain judge. And I found out later on they weren't that fond of blues. And that's just the way it went.
Just the way it went. Yep.
Yeah. And it's because it's subjective sport. And let's face it, your things that you like come forward sometimes. Like you may put different emphasis on things that are more personally acceptable to you. You're like, I love a beautiful headpiece on a dog, but dogs don't walk on their heads. But some people it's just the way it goes. So
yep, exactly.
You need to learn those things.
Yes. Mentors will help open doors in the community too. They'll introduce you to, judges and breeders and handlers. And that's a valuable asset to have, especially, other breeders. If you are looking at wanting to breed your dog, you have your breeder in your pocket supporting you, that breeder knows other breeders, obviously, and they're going to be able to, speak on your behalf or help you, introduce you to those other breeders where you can take a look at other dogs that, may be a good match for you. So where you may not, have a clue where to go at the beginning. So,
and again, these are all things they learn from their mentor.
So exactly. And they encourage you. They encourage you participation in clubs and specialties and seminars. And this is so important to belong to a club. So important because then you get the camaraderie and
you'll gain more mentors being a member of a club.
Yes, exactly. And just the social aspect of belonging to a breed club, especially, but an all breed club as well. For example, friend of the show, Jean Brunton, she just sent out the information for next year's English Setter National, which is going to be at SD&G. And I'm reading through some of this. I'm getting all excited because for me, it's on this weekend coming up. So I'm always torn, drive 6 hours to go to Minnesota, or now am I going to drive 14 to go to SD&G? Well, I'm going to go 14. I'm going to go 14 next year to SD&G because it's my English Setter people of Canada, and I love all of them, and I never get to see them. So I'm all pumped. I'm already like booking my site. I'm like, Faith, make sure you got that weekend off.
Book it now.
Exactly. But that's all part of, I was mentored to make sure you go to your nationals. Try and get there when you can. Go to your nationals and be a part of your club. So that's very, very important. And then there's the support at the shows, right? And often your breeder will be just a calm person, generally calm person at ringside. And they can also. Some are, some aren't. We all know. Stop laughing. And they offer advice during the ups and downs of competition too, right? Like we win some, we lose some.
Oh, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
Like I'm 60 years old now, and George is in his late 80s. I still call him, and I'll complain about this and that, and he'll talk me off a ledge and keep things in perspective. And right.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Your breeder is standing outside watching you show your dog, compete against other dogs, and you might come out thinking, I should have won that class. And a breeder will be like, well, you were competitive. The dog that beat you wasn't a bad dog because of this, this, and this. So
we were talking about that this weekend. It was Pam McClintock and I actually, and how as you get older and you gain some perspective on things. And even as a judge, I was telling Pam, even as a judge now, when I'm showing my dog and I get defeated, I can accept it because I can say, oh, I can see how that happened. I can see what happened there. And you accept it more than just thinking, oh, probably cuts her grass or takes her garbage or something.
Her nephew did the plumbing at their house.
So those are easier things to accept than that dog is better than your dog.
Exactly.
But it does. It keeps, and you are able to look at things through different glasses now and see why you weren't successful that day.
Yeah. Is that just because we're old? Is that what that really means?
Maybe.
We trim away all the fat, Will. This just means we're old now.
I don't call it age. I call it mileage. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how to crack the odometer and spin it back.
Speaking of mileage, I had this weird dream. You mean my dreams? I had this weird dream the other night where my transmission just fell right out of my van. I was freaking out. I'm like, I don't want to have to put a new. And I was going.
Now what am I going to do?
Now what am I going to do?
Fred Flintstone and use your feet and
exactly. But then I thought, then I don't know. I do this a lot. I thought in my dream, Yvonne, just wake up. It's a dream. And I thought, okay. And I did.
Stop being so ridiculous. Wake up.
I did. I woke up and then I thought to myself,
you're ridiculous.
You're ridiculous. And you still have the warranty on your transmission in this van. You're fine.
And you're asleep.
You weirdo. Yeah. Anyhow, we were just speaking of this too. Model sportsmanship too, right? Yeah. Demonstrate respect, humility, and fairness, and and they will help teach your mentees how to celebrate wins and accept losses gracefully. And I think we just cannot speak on this enough. Enough.
Right? Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw, you get to still take your dog home, and
And it's not rocket science. They're not curing anything. They're not changing anything. They're not.
It's one day at the dog show. It's just one day at the dog show.
You can go back and kick a can in your setup for a second, then shake it off and
throw a brush at your brother. Whatever you need to do, that kind of thing. But it's just one person's opinion, and do the best you can with choking down the tears.
Oh, and it's I'm not going to say who the judge was, but that they were talking to me and they were late for their ring. So they said, I have to go now. I have to go continue breaking some hearts and crushing some dreams. And they don't go in there mean to do that, but you do that, right? Their hearts are on their shoulders out there a lot of times, their own dogs, and you have to do your job. You have to do what you think is best. So.
And it's understandable, right? Yeah. And so another thing a mentor will do is encourage lifelong learning. So to keep your curiosity about your breed, the health issues that arise sometimes with breeds, and preservation of our breeds, and that's
that's an important one. And
really,
your mentors
really
are, again, it's passed down generation after generation after generation.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting for hours in Salvador Julia's kitchen listening to her talk about the people before her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting. It was very interesting. Even when you're only 15, it's still interesting. You're trying to step through the smoke.
Back in the day.
Coffees and cigarettes, and you're trying to listen about English setters.
It's so true.
It was true, though. It was just generational, just the way it went. Right?
That's the one thing. Our generation, I can't believe that we don't have more lung cancer in our age group.
Oh, God.
Because, no one believed in rolling down a window either in the car. So in the world of dog shows and breeding, mentors are not just teachers. They are guardians of tradition and preservation, ensuring that knowledge and passion for purebred dogs are passed to the next generation. And it's very true. So if you are, for some of our newer listeners or new people to our sport.
Or my mom who wants to hear this again.
Yeah. look for a mentor. And if you're not sure of who to maybe ask, remember, it doesn't just have to be within your breed. It's
Right.
great if it is, but sometimes there are breeds that there's just not a lot of people, and you may not be in an area where there are a lot of people. Like, for example, for me up here in Thunder Bay, I was pretty much the only person that had English setters, except for good old Oscar Schultz, and he had a lot of other dogs. But ask around. You can also ask other people about who would be, helpful. Who would you consider to be someone to help you along? And you'd be surprised at the number of people that would be willing to, and the number of people that would direct you into.
And it's not like if you talk to I'll go back to Brian Casey and Pat Blanky. If you ask them their ideas on breeding, why wouldn't that work for English setters? Why wouldn't that work? Why wouldn't that whole philosophy work for your breed? Of course it would.
Yeah.
It would keep you in the right direction. And because those two were so successful, they knew a lot of people, so they would point you in the right direction. So
yeah, for sure. So that was the topic of the week, and that was sponsored to you by Leading Edge Dog Show Academy. Your success is our success.
Very good. That brings us to last week's question of the week, and that was brought to us driven by ProPlan. Fuel the champion in your dog. Well, this was a touchy question of the week, and it got a lot of response. Last week's question: what effect do online keyboard warriors have on the future and integrity of our sport?
Yes.
Take that in.
Take that in. I just have to open my door now. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
So lots of feedback on this, which we knew we would get.
Lots of opinions, as we knew that it would.
It's stirring the pot. Hillary Chambers says, unfortunately, social media is turning into the downfall of society. The lack of respect, boundaries, and vitriol are astounding. This is a massive issue in the horse world as well. And the majority of the worst offenses are folks not actively engaged in the sport or those with little knowledge, many with AR agendas, which is animal rights. It comes down to admins that should be blocking, deleting, banning these people in comments. But when Facebook pays people, groups, and pages with large followers for engagement, many admins have no interest in removing hot button or inappropriate comments. There should be consequences for inappropriate behavior. It should be shut down. Keyboard warriors do massive harm to the sport, not to mention bullying harms real people.
It's true.
It's true. And I find for as much good as Facebook does, I think it does, unfortunately,
it's made our world smaller, but it definitely has changed the landscape of our sport, and it's opened doors to people criticism.
Oh, for sure. Rosella Bowen, purebred dogs are already under a lot of scrutiny and being under a and being watched under a magnifying glass. We don't need to tear each other apart from within on social media. This only fuels the fire to outside groups to create more control, regulations, and worse, the end of purebred dogs.
Oh, and that's so true. Can you imagine? Not that we did anything bad, but can you imagine if someone videoed us when we were being idiots when we were younger?
Well, it's so true. And and like if they were to video us and then take it out of context, which is what a lot of people do, right? Like, not to say that we would have been jailed, but I don't think
but it would have added scrutiny to the sport. It's just I still say that we grew up in the golden years of our sport. We got to see the great handlers, we got to see great dogs, and it was before all this happened. So
yes, we had a lot of fun, lots of fun.
At the end of the year, we didn't even know who was top dog because there was no stats online to follow. So you were just guessing who was in what position, and some people would double it at 30 because the new metric system came out, and they would think they were way ahead of somebody else, and then it would come out later on that next year, and you'd say, "Oh,
Oh, look at you! You were fifth in the group, not fifth all breeds."
So but it made things exciting. It really did.
It did. I think, and I kind of miss those days where are you number one? I don't know. I might be close. Maybe. And then, that was always exciting to know, or to see who was going to show up where. Right. Because,
and like Credit Valley. What's that?
And thwart your plans for the weekend.
But like Credit Valley, the last show of the year, and all the top dogs in the country are showing up.
It was a slugfest, right? It was just like...
Well, then all of a sudden, the number one dog in America shows up, and it changes the landscape the whole weekend.
Ended up number 4 of all breeds.
Yeah, one weekend, because that was our biggest show back then. But you didn't. If it had been social media, we all would have known probably and tried to go somewhere else, or not gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But
but it's in America now too. It's not like
no. There's no question.
They know instantaneously what's going on, and I think that's. And I actually think some of this stuff is the problem that we have, because we are so now conditioned for instant results.
Yeah.
Like if a show
is like that now, instant gratification.
Yeah, because for us, with Canuck dogs, the show secretaries now upload it basically to Canuck dogs, their results, through the interweb, but the number of people that'll be online, like, how come the results aren't up for the show? How come the results aren't up from the show? Are they going to get, like, settle down, people? Well, I said this to a woman at the show the other week because she was upset that AKC still hadn't had their results up. And I was like, yeah, well, it's a lot better than waiting 6 months for, see the Canadian
the yellow pages.
The Dogs in Canada pages came out to you. You got your January results in July. Like, settle down.
But there is there's both ways looking at it, because as if there was an insecure judge on the panel, they could look up and see who won yesterday, where you couldn't 20 years ago.
No,
you couldn't do that. You had no idea, and you were left to your own devices the next day.
Yeah.
Right?
We're not saying judges do that, but
but yeah. I'm sure there are some individuals that check what happened, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do the exact same thing. But I mean, there was a time when that just didn't happen. You just didn't know.
Yeah.
You didn't know who won unless you heard rumors.
Yes.
But now you can watch Best in Show. You can sit there and watch it before your event the next day.
Yes. So some other responses. We had Sarah Petrie, friend of the show. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it or type it at all. Negativity needs to stop. It is toxic in all forms of life, including dog shows. And that's very true. Like didn't your mom always say, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all? That's what my mom did.
And seatbelts on and glasses on. She used to say too.
Rider Ranch trucks.
Doug McIntyre, I want to write doctors. A quicker demise to an already troubled sport, in my opinion, FFS.
And we'll have a key to his acronyms later on. Devin Nutbeam, there are many ways of looking at this, but the bottom line is that which was said in the past in closed circles is now out there via the internet. The same things are being said as was always the case. It is just now it is said to a wider audience. Some of it may be frivolous and petty, while some other issues may need saying and may need to be heard by those who have the ability, if not the will, to do something about it. It is a function of human nature to communicate frustration, dismay, disappointment, anger, as well as accolades, appreciation, and acknowledgement. It is a fact, however, unfortunate that some communicate more effectively and or respectfully than others, so people may interpret a message differently. It is important to try to sift chaff from the... I can't say that word, chafe from
the grain is
as it were, to try to understand from where the poster is coming. The essence of the message, which which though we might not like the way it is conveyed, recognize the kernel in there of something which is necessary to hear.
Yeah.
And that's...
That she's right. She's spot on. I really enjoy speaking with Devin. I had a good conversation with her when I was in Miramichi in the judge's lunchroom because she was stewarding. I wish I could speak with her more. She's a very interesting lady to talk about dogs. She has so many different ways to look at it.
Yeah. Oh, I like Stacy Cronin's answer too. Unfortunately, I like the long answers if you can't tell. Stacy Cronin, unfortunately, contributes to the problem. Genuine connection isn't achieved without personal contact, and I think this is the factor. Yeah. This is the factor. We have so little of it now. Even in positive circumstances, a warm congratulations from someone you respect feels so much more genuine and uplifting than a typed response in a post. In the good old days, successes would be met by very personal exchanges that held meaning. Now they are fleeting if you're lucky enough to get them. When people have something negative to say, instead of considering whether anything should be said at all, fingers fly to keyboard without regard to the consequences. When negative posts are then liked, it compounds the problem. Interpersonal issues have no place in public forums. We are all better served by seeking to solve whatever problem might exist directly with those involved rather than tearing down people. We do our sports with our dogs because it is enjoyable, or so it should be. Can we all just be a little more kind and thoughtful?
Yeah, Stacy's hit on the mark as well. She's
Yep, it's so true.
Yep. Because we are here to enjoy our dogs.
Yes.
And it becomes a pack mentality, these posts sometimes. If someone starts jumping on, they just pack on and make it worse and make it worse and make it worse.
And I've said this before, and it always surprises me how many people will just jump on and, give their, 2 cents about something they have no business giving their 2 cents about.
Or sometimes they'll read the first sentence instead of reading the whole post. And they'll give their opinion then without knowing what the post is actually about.
Yeah. A lot of people are like that. A lot. So that was our question of the week, and it was brought to you by ProPlan. Fuel the champion in your dog.
Your dog, yeah.
So this week's question, going back to our topic of the week, is who has been one of your greatest mentors in the sport? So let's... out there on our Facebook listeners and blah, 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 YouTubers.
Yeah, I think we'll get some good answers here because people are going to tell us there'll be some mentors that we probably never heard of. And I want to hear those stories. So
yes, exactly. And what they gave to you and what kernel of information did they impart on you that, maybe you've held for a long, long time.
You're still relying on that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Do we still have some time for the Kennel and Bench?
Yes, of course. Let's finish. Right. We can finish with Kennel and Bench.
So Megan drew this up from the September 1969 edition from the Kennel and Bench. And this is me. I'm going to send you to the Kennel and Bench because this was quite interesting. But when you go to look for Kennel and Bench, these publications, you can't just go to Kennel and Bench on the portal, on your CKC portal. You have to go to publication history. Usually takes me 10 minutes to remember this. So I'm giving you all a little Easter egg and saying, go to publication history. So you'll find it in the September 1969 edition, and it's the annual Stud Gallery. And it says, planning to add to your kennels, breed your matron, seeking new strains to add desired qualities to your own. Here is a representation of outstanding studs in kennels owned by responsible, knowledgeable breeders listed alphabetically by breed. And so then when I went to the publication history, there are... it's fantastic, actually, to see all these stud dogs and the old kennel names. And like I was telling Will, there was John Guimond. He had a...
Okay, Guimond's husband, yeah.
Yeah, Wire Hill registered. Yep. There's a Wire Fox Terrier. There's a lot of Shepherds, Dobermans, Labradors.
It's just fun to see the names, to look back and see the names.
Well, here was one, Revlo Kennels, Maltese. Remember
Yeah.
Billy Milne used to show for Douglas and Mary Oliver. And this one was co-owned by friend of the show, Miss Elaine Mitchell.
There you go.
This stud dog, yeah. And so it's just fantastic. And there's like everything. There's collies, Samoyeds. So if you get a chance, go take a look. If you're looking to waste time like I do,
But you look at your breed and you'll probably see names that you recognize from the history of your breed. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
All right, Yvonne.
We're done. Where are you going this weekend?
Where am I going? I'm judging at the Elgin County Kennel Club. Mike and Sandy John's show. I'm looking forward to it. I got a great entry. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Where's that?
The weather is nice.
Where's
Dorchester,
that?
Ontario.
Dorchester. Okay, that's
right
near
near
London. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Well. Yeah. That's great. So don't forget to click, and subscribe to the podcast. Check out our Facebook page, The Dog Show Drive, Canadian edition, and email us your ideas, comments, and more. And our email address is actually dogshowdrive@gmail.com.
So it's not The Dog Show Drive.
It's just dogshowdrive@gmail.com. So everyone traveling this weekend.
That's why you're not getting my emails. I keep throwing that into it.
Probably have to look at them first. Anyway, all of you traveling to a dog show, drive safe, be safe. Until next week, seatbelts on, glasses on. Yeah, well, whatever. It's in the morning. This is not right.
It is. That is. Yeah.
Seatbelts on, glasses on. Till next week.
Be
Bye.
safe, everyone.